My name's Richie Arnold and I play the character Joe Casey in the production of Our House. Yeah, my character is Joe Casey, and throughout the story kind of progresses through his life. So at first, at the beginning of the play, he's a 16-year-old, and he develops into a man, and he has a girlfriend on and off in both stories, called Sarah, and then he's also got a mother who tries and guides him through life, and then he also has a dead father who throughout almost acts as a narrator and feels like he needs to give his son advice, but you know, he's obviously not there, so he struggles to get that point across. But it's actually really interesting for the audience because they can actually hear what he's saying and how he thinks about situations. Sometimes he thinks they're good and sometimes he thinks they're bad. So it really gives a character development of what the father's actually like as well, although he's not actually alive. He's also got two best friends, Emma and Lewis, and that's a real fun part for me with the two lads as well, because obviously we get along in rehearsals and stuff, and it's just really fun, and you can experiment with them and have a laugh, have fun. Yeah, well, obviously I don't have a relationship with my father. There's just a little end bit that's quite nice. The relationship with Sarah is, like I said, is on and off quite a lot of the thing. Normally when I've played characters that have got a good relationship with a girl, they normally have it throughout. Whereas in this, right at the beginning they have a really strong connection, right at the end they've got a really strong connection. But throughout the play it's very on and off, on and off. So that was something to look forward to. With the two lads, like I said, it's fun. It really is just like what you would have a laugh with in real life with your friends, with your mates when you're out having a pint or something like that. The banter's flowing. It's just great. Like rehearsals and in the show, you'll see that it's just really fun. And when we actually watched it first, you looked at that and you thought, how good's that going to be to have a bit of fun, have a bit of rehearsal. It's just fantastic. I thought when I first looked at the script that I needed to experiment, because there's a lot of videos going on about how he should be played. A lot of people have said that he should be played exactly like the person in West End played him. Some of that I agree, some of that I don't. Don't get me wrong, the West End version is brilliant, but you can't go about it. You can use it as a base, but then you've got to develop on your own how you would interpret the character. So it says in the script he's a rough diamond, but a diamond in itself. So that is that's what he is. That's exactly that. You've just got to expand on it really. So he's a cheeky chap. He's a cheeky chap, but when with Sarah and when he to be fair, he knows when he's done wrong. He knows what's wrong and what's right. He knows, and that's a challenge for me as an actor, because you know what's wrong and right. It's getting across to the audience, them knowing you know wrong from right, but you still doing a bad decision. There's a really good scene where that happens with Richie, and you can see he doesn't really want to do it, but there's a bit of greed in him. I think there's a bit of greed, but there's a bit of heart. Like I said with Sarah's scenes, he can be very soppy. There's a lot of the lads take the mick out of me because, oh, here he is, the soppy side of Joe, But then you've got the banter side of him with the lads, and you've got the cheeky side, It's really, really fun to play. There's so many different sides of him, especially with the two stories, because they've got to be different in different ways. You've got different things in a different side of the story. So you experiment with that loads, and loads of ideas come across, and you've just got to get them across to the audience as quick and as efficient, and with a bit of quality, obviously. The technical side of the show is, I'd say, the most challenging of the whole thing I've ever been a part of, ever. You've got set that's absolutely outstanding, by the way. You've got set, you've got lighting. That a lot of people don't think that lighting's a big thing in production. This has to be spot on. The lighting's got to be great because it affects the mood and everything of scenes. You can't just have normal lighting on certain things, especially with the two-story. You've got to change the lighting within it. You've also, it's darker side and lighter side, and that translates over to the technicians up in sound and lighting. The sets, I spoke to technicians. The set's the hardest set they've ever had to do. With watching the West End, you've got to either want to be that or better if you can, and that's us lot saying it, us as actors saying that, and technicians are in the exact same boat. They want to be the best. There's trucks, there's things dropping down, there's things twisting round. There's a car. Who would have thought we'd ever do that? So it's the biggest challenge they've ever had, and fair play because they're going to pull it off. So that's the technician's job. Costume changes, they're another different story. I've got, just before I've had two people really sorting my costume changes out throughout the show, and it is very, very difficult and very, very manic. Some of them are unreal. We've had to order things, we've had to get certain things in for impossible change when you watch it. You'll watch it and you'll think, what? How? Getting changed on stage without audience seeing, that's something different to what I've ever done. Getting changed for every single scene. Normally you're used to playing the same character throughout the show, and you think, right, that's where I've got to be, that's where I've come on. This, you've got to have every little detail. It's where I exit, so whether it be stage left or stage right or even at the back, that going off, where you leave your costume. Did you leave it stage right? Did you leave it stage left? Then having people to change you when you go off, and then when you're on stage, there's a really manic umbrella scene that's just chaos. Things like shoes. We've had to order two sets of shoes. One that is going to be tight on me, one pair that's going to be loose on me, so you can really get the flow fast. It is a very, very, very technical show. There's not a show based on technical side as much as this, and I think that's the biggest compliment you can give to the technicians. So they'll get a special round of applause at the end of it. It's not just about us lot. The band, they're in the same bracket as the technicians. I think they've got a very hard job. There's a lot, I know it sounds stupid because it's a musical, but there's a lot of singing. There's lots of, reprises, and, they come in and out, just little bits of music, and music to make the audience feel the scene. You've got to believe these type of things. The thing with this show, it's not musical theatre acting, what a few of us are used to. Some of it's straight acting, some of it's almost TV-like, if you like, So there's putting that and then putting it with musical theatre, which is really difficult. So the band have had to experiment with that. They've got to adapt to how we're doing it. We'll have to change little bits. We've had to change more time for myself to get changed, for actors to get on stage. So they're learning vamps. They can't just go off the score. So I think us lot as a cast are helping them out as well. They're really appreciating us. And they really give a great atmosphere to the show. It's fantastic. The baggy trousers is mental. Sun and the rain. Reprises come in and out. When I watch a musical, I love chorus pieces. They're the real showstoppers for me, especially when you belt a good harmony out at the end. And the band have absolutely took it to the audience. They've really got hold of it. Well, the show is madness, in a word. It is madness. It's madness music, it's madness costume change, it's madness set. It's horrendous, but in a brilliant way. There's a word that he uses in the script, and uses it quite a lot, and it's magical. He uses that a lot in the script. The audience should feel magic. They should feel wonder. How have they done that? So when all these elements come into one, it'll be a fantastic, fantastic show. the best a lot of us are ever going to do, you know, and it'll be hard to top it. It's going to be a great show. So my name's Richie Arnold. I play Joe Casey in the production of Our House by Kendal College, and it's going to be at the Brewery Arts Centre on the 13th, 14th and 15th of June, which is Thursday, Friday and Saturday. We also have a matinee, so we hope to sell as many tickets for that as well as the night. Thank you.